Good morning, scholars. Today we're going to continue our way through Far's Homeric Greek, a book for beginners, looking at the use of the reflexive pronouns in Homer, which are not as variegated as they become later in the later language. Now, so you might recall that in the normal language you can use the straightforward possessive pronouns to serve as reflexives in the first and second person. So you notice in this chart, you also have these in the square brackets, hos, he, hon, representing the third person possessive pronoun, his, her, its own, and that is used reflexively, and that is what you see in Homer. But, as we've learned, the reflexive, by its very use and definition and functionality in the language, only occurs in the genitive, the dative, and the accusative. And mostly, the overall dominant use is of the singular. So you see in these forms, he-oi, he-o, ho, you, heten, eten, you see that there are 7 different ways of forming the genitive, and these last on each row are enclitics, which we'll talk about very soon, but they don't have the accent, but their accent, they lean back on the previous word. We'll go through that later. But then in the dative, you have he-hoi, hoi, and hoi. And in the accusative, you have and men. So these will be your reflexive singular of the third person in Homer. Now, Homer can also imitate something we saw in Attic, where hos, the third person, can serve for emos or sauce. So in Homer, hos, his, is used for emos, mine, or yours, sauce. So we have this bit from the Odyssey, where this is where Odysseus is languishing on Calypso's island. I can't imagine anything sweeter than to catch sight of my own homeland. So the Greek utoi egoge heis geis dunamai gloku gloke roteron alo idestai. So heis geis here stands for my own homeland. Utoi egoge, no indeed am I able, heis geis, then my land, dunamai, glu roteron alo idestai. I'm not able to see anything sweeter than my own homeland. So here we have heis, this genitive of what would technically be, hers, or serving as my. So somewhat of a complexity, but like I say, this occurs in Attic as well. But the overall glance at the phenomenon of this use of this third personal singular is seen in section 253 of Monro, where he says the pronoun he-o, i.e. the personal pronoun declined from the stems he, and sve, is sometimes reflexive, i.e. denotes the subject of the sentence or clause, and sometimes a simple anaphoric pronoun. Anaphoric meaning, of course, that it just brings back again a previously mentioned subject or object. In the latter use, it is always unemphatic. Now, so looking at 1, the reflexive sense is chiefly found either A, after a preposition, and we're going to look at these examples, so I'm not going to worry about them right now. Or B, when it is reinforced by autos, and then some other examples. So again, these are our forms, the 7 different forms of the genitive: hoi, hoi, ho, 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 heten, heten. The 3 forms of the dative: hoi, 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 and then the 4 accusative forms: he, men. So first off, after pronouns, we see this first example using the verb poptaino, which is to peer about, like when a soldier is on the battlefield and he's looking around for anyone who might be approaching to engage with him. So, ampe he poptesas, ampe he poptesas, peering about around himself. Very common expression. And then apo heo, away from himself. Then helk ep hoi, he dragged him behind him. Prota hoi, pros equals, prota is a alternative Homeric form for pros, towards himself. Metas visen, meta, I'm not sure what the meta with the dative means here. I couldn't find this actually in context. But katas ve'as, we'll see the use of kata, meaning by or by themselves. So that's probably what it is here as well. So, but the important thing here is just these reflexive often appear after prepositions. Now, like in Attic, we also have the reflexives formed in combination with the personal pronoun stem and autos. So we have stirs himself up to fight. He etauton epotrune makestai. He etauton epotrune makesastai. And then we have, I was fighting by myself. Makomen kat emauton. Makomen kat emauton. So here we see the third person with auton, and eme, the first person with auton, for himself and then myself. And then here we have a bunch of the other examples that Monro supplies. This is from Book 2, where Thetis is complaining to Zeus about Agamemnon's dishonoring of Achilles. And she refers to Agamemnon, who even now has dishonored Achilles, a man much greater than himself, than, i.e., Agamemnon. So the Greek, hos kai nun akelea heo mega amenona pota etimesen. And then from Book 5, we have Athena rebuking Diomedes. And the goddess grabbed the horse yoke and spoke. Yes, indeed. Tydeus bore a son of little resemblance to himself. Tydeus was small of stature, yes, but he was a fighter. Unlike you, this is just a wonderful scene from Book 5 where Athena comes down and, pulls Diomedes' chain for not being, for having come off the battlefield after he suffered a little wound. Hipe udete zugu ipsato bonesente e olegon hoi paida oikota genato Tydeus. Tydeus toi mikros men demas ala maketes. But he was a fighter. And so we see in the second line, indeed, olegon, very little to him a son having resembled Genato Tydeus. Tydeus bore a son very little resembling to him. And we saw in the previous recent lecture that expressions of resemblance trigger a dative. So very little resembling to him, him. That's why we have the dative. And then from Iliad 4, such was Tydeus the Aetolian, but his son was born worse than him in battle, in speech though better. And this, I believe, is actually Agamemnon pulling Diomedes' chain. Toios ein Tydeus Aetolios, alaton huion genato eo kerea make, agore de tamenon. And then from Iliad 5, we have, you see the form heten, this genitive. But him, and this is referring to Scamandrion, but him, the son of Atreus, spear-famed Menelaus, in front of him fleeing, and this is Scamandrion, fleeing in front of him, running in front of him, he wounded in the back with the spear, right between his shoulders, and it drove through his chest, and he fell forward prone, and his armor clambered upon him. Alamen Atreides, Dorikletos Menelaos, Prosten eten bugonta, metaprenon u tacedoria, o mon mesegus, diades de tepin elasen, e ripe de prenes, arabe sadetu ke boitoi. And his armor clamored about him. Arabe sadetu ke boitoi. Kepautoi. A very much repeated expression once we get to the hardcore battle scenes. And then wonderful scene in the final book of the Iliad, where a messenger is sent from Achilles to Achilles to explain to him how displeased the gods, and especially Zeus, is with his ill treatment of Hector's body. And the messenger says to him, "But heed me quickly, for I am Zeus's messenger. He says the gods are angry with you, and he himself, i.e. Zeus, of all the immortals, is himself most enraged, because with a mind gone mad, you are holding Hector beside the curved ship, and don't release him, but come, let him go, and accept ransom for the corpse." So, al emeten sunes oka, dios de toyango los eme, scus destai soi pesente us, e de xoka panton, athanaton ke kolos stai, hote frese maino menese, Hector ekes paraneusi koronesen ud apelusas, al agade duson, necreo de dexaiapoina. Now, I knew that was curved ships. It wouldn't have been singular. So, in that second from the last line, Hector ekes para neuse koronesen ud abelusas. And notice that the Iliad in book 24 is concerned with the same type of situation. Just someone who, because they're a little out of their mind, well, Achilles is very much out of his mind, refuses to accept what should be acceptable, customarily appropriate ransom, i.e., in this case, for the body of Hector. But Achilles has been driven out of his mind by the fact that Hector killed his best friend and lover Patroclus. And in the first book, of course, we've already seen how Agamemnon, just because he's something of, he has his own personal issues, he refuses to receive the ransom for the captured girl. Okay, so that gives us a look at the use of reflexives in Homer. This is a picture of me at Olympia in front of the remaining pillars of the temple of Zeus. I believe this is the temple of Zeus. Someone could correct me. I'm not. We didn't do a good job of labeling these right after the trip, but I do believe these are the remnants of the temple of Zeus at Olympia. Okay, so have a good day, and I will talk to you again soon. This video concludes our treatment of the pronoun system in Greek. There are 9 lectures in total to this series, and the full series is available on my Patreon site to my sponsors. Okay, have a good day. Bye-bye.